everyone. I'm Symphony Privet. Thank you for joining us here on Featured. We hope to inspire or simply make you smile with uplifting stories across the country. Oh, they say life's greatest chapters are at times written last. A 92-year-old Army veteran in Kentucky is proving grief doesn't have to be the end of the story. It can be the beginning of one. Bill Matherl lost his wife of nearly 60 years, and he says he lost his purpose, but then he found a paintbrush. Brooke Hash explains.
In a quiet room at a senior living facility in Hodgenville, Kentucky,
you can take this,
something beautiful is happening.
and you come over like this.
One tiny brush stroke at a time.
You think you get this covered and the pigment separates.
At 92 years old,
And just touching these up.
Bill Matherly doesn't miss much.
You have to go back over that.
Not a number,
Straighten it out.
not a color,
Sometimes you run out of paint.
not a detail.
You can get something to match.
He works by number.
Try to find something you miss.
The paint by number kits most people write off as a hobby for kids or a rainy afternoon.
I can sit down for hours and not move.
A LaRue County resident for 6 years now, Bill came here from Elizabethtown, not because he wanted to, but because someone he loved needed him to.
When my wife had to come into the nursing home, I came with her because she couldn't stay in here by herself. She had dementia. 6 months later, she passed away.
59 and a half years of marriage gone.
We were 50th wedding anniversary. I prayed a lot after my wife passed away. And I'm not a person that wants to sit around and look at the walls. I want to be busy.
Before he took up a paintbrush, he crafted crosses out of dowel rods, hundreds of them for strangers.
Maybe they need a boost. You'd be surprised what it does to people. I've seen people change their life.
Then came the paintings.
It changed mine.
Mountains, beaches, flowers, and faith.
Do you have a favorite painting that you've done?
This one here. Let's see it smile. I feel like he's part of my life. Very important.
His family at Signature Healthcare of Sunrise Manor recently shared his work on social media.
I was like in awe.
The response was immediate and overwhelming.
And all the churches has reached out to us about it.
Everybody loves when he gets one done. That just gives him a purpose, and just seeing other people, seeing the smile on their face and the joy it brings, that makes him happy.
Bill is humble about all of it.
Every picture you get 3 or 4 brushes. You don't need all of those.
He'll be the first to tell you the process isn't always pretty up close.
You can get back 10 feet and it looks good. But you look at it right now and it doesn't look very good.
Of course, to him,
But that's what you do when you get old.
everything is magnified. A paintbrush, his purpose, and his unwavering faith.
I wish everybody felt like I did.
In Hodgenville, Kentucky,
You give me a picture and I'll paint one for you.
Brooke Hash.
10 years ago, a mom in Tampa turned to social media in a moment of desperation after her daughter was critically injured overseas. That post marked the beginning of an incredible journey of survival and recovery in the years since. Her daughter has fought through a traumatic brain injury with remarkable strength, and now she is sharing her story of hope and healing. Here's Jenny Dean.
This is video from Skylar Arakawa's GoPro just 10 minutes before her life changed. She was on a hiking and rafting adventure in Colombia just months after graduating from Yale when a boulder rolled off a mountain and nearly killed her.
Cracked open her skull, crushed her lungs, fractured her spine, fractured both scapula, snapped her right thigh, and pulverized her left ankle.
I got a whole laundry list of injuries, but the most reason I'm in a wheelchair is the traumatic brain injury.
As Skylar's mom, Meredith, rushed to be by her daughter's side, she had to face her own fears and insecurities head on.
And I started asking myself some new questions, and one of them came to, I may not be able to control the outer game, but I sure as heck can play a mean inner game, so game on. If my child needs me to be a version of myself I don't even know if I'm capable of being, count me in.
Miraculously, Skylar was stabilized in Colombia and able to be transported back to a trauma unit in Miami within 3 days.
You know, today when we're filming this, literally at this moment, was the major March 4th surgery where, and we call it March 4th because it really was groundbreaking. They didn't really, medical precedent didn't anticipate that she would have a high probability of surviving this particular procedure because it was really like putting Humpty Dumpty back together again.
After that surgery, the real road to recovery began.
1, 2, and 3.
And with each month and year that goes by,
Woohoo! Skylar! Awesome!
Skylar continues to defy the odds, doing things doctors told her she never would.
Woo! Is Skylar about ready to say hi? She's gonna take a deep breath.
Her attitude and determination
Yes, Skylar!
leading the way.
Hi, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 30th, and Skylar has a new trick to show you. Skylar is now mouthing words, so here is I love you.
Surprisingly, not really. I'm a pretty positive person.
You were always
I was always,
Happiness is
It's
literally
literally-
her middle name.
yes.
Is it really your middle name?
Well, in Japanese, it's Sachi, which means happiness.
As time goes by, Skylar knows she'll never be able to pick back up where her life left off 10 years ago, but she's found purpose in her new life, inspiring others, most recently being crowned Miss Wheelchair Florida.
Yay! We love you, Skylar. Thank you. Hi, I'm Skylar Arakawa. So I won this. We have published 12 children's books, and we're trying to expand to 1 million Bolder Futures Initiative to teach 1 million children about challenges. My platform is ROAR. Raise awareness, open doors, amplify voices, and redefine accessibility.
One of our big objectives is to teach children, whether they are able-bodied or disabled or whatever kind of environment, that your challenges do have the potential to become your superpowers.
And it was a boulder
Tumbling down the mountain.
that helped this mother and daughter find their superpowers together.
As a dynamic duo, this year has really solidified us as more than just a caregiver and her child. It really has helped us bring both of our visions of helping people and making an impact together.
Whoa, together, together, together.
That was Jenny Dean reporting from Tampa. Well, next up for Skylar and Meredith, there is a movie in the works about her story. Meredith says it'll focus on what's possible instead of what's impossible. I love that. Now, 3 brothers, they are highlighting how important organ donation is. Each has received a heart transplant, and Marshawn Gunn has their story and the message they have for everyone.
Pete Patterson celebrating the 25th anniversary of his heart transplant.
The last 25 years, probably been about the best 25 years of my life.
But he's not celebrating alone. His brothers Rex and Dale Peterson also celebrating life after their heart transplants.
We all feel pretty fortunate.
We're just given an extra lease on life.
Pete got his heart after a work accident landed him in the hospital, which led to doctors finding out he had cardiomyopathy, the enlarging of the heart making it harder for the organ to function.
And he walked up about 10 feet from me and says, "You're going to die." And I about fell off the table I was sitting on.
After a 5-month stay in the hospital, doctors found Pete a heart.
It was
about as good a match as you could possibly have.
Almost 20 years later, his brother Rex found out he also had cardiomyopathy.
I assumed it was a death sentence. At my age, I was 67 at the time. I didn't think I could get a transplant at that age.
And 3 years after that, the same for Dale.
If I didn't get a heart, they said I probably had 2 to 3 months at best.
Both brothers were able to receive a new heart just a few weeks after being diagnosed. Now, as National Donate Month approaches, they're spreading the word about how important organ donation is.
If it weren't for the donors' families in some cases, it just wouldn't happen, and we wouldn't be here, period.
Because for the brothers, it's not just a heart. It's the chance to live with the life they want.
The greatest gift you could give anybody.
In Moline, Marshawn Gunn.
I love that there was a happy ending to that story and that they can celebrate together. Coming up right after this break, a North Carolina woman missing for more than 2 decades, found after her arrest on an outstanding warrant. The emotional reunion with her daughter, 24 years in the making. Gigi's Playhouse, an international Down syndrome organization, held its annual fundraising gala in Pennsylvania. Brian Tagg tells us about how a night of glitz and glam highlighted a mission to make a difference.
Every year, a night of dancing and laughter helps Gigi's Playhouse celebrate a year's worth of achievements. Except this year, it's bigger than ever.
This is our biggest event that we've had. We're close to 300 people. So it just kind of shows that we are making such an impact and the outreach. People are learning about us and hearing our mission and starting to believe in what we do.
The annual gala and silent auction does more than just raise money for Gigi's mission. It raises spirits.
If we didn't have Gigi's, I really don't know what we would do. So having the support of our community and our family and our friends just means the world to us. So Gigi's can continue to provide services for not only Kinley, but others like Kinley.
With featured speakers, live music, and performances, the special night highlights everyone that Gigi's Playhouse has helped over the years. Highlighting achievements and giving a voice to those who need one is what the night is all about.
Expressing how they feel. So one thing we are doing is just giving a voice to them, showing how capable they are and how much they can achieve so that people can believe in them and trust them to do bigger things, and we're so excited for that.
And with the gala continuing to grow every year, Gigi's Playhouse welcomes everyone who needs their help and wants to make a few friends.
I would always say, come, 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 please come. Gigi's has space for everyone from infants to adults, and they're nothing but warm and welcoming.
Brian Tagg.
Do you love Gigi's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fox 43 News.
Great story there. An emotional reunion in North Carolina. A daughter hugged her mom for the first time in more than 24 years. Michelle Smith disappeared back in 2001, leaving behind a husband and 3 children. Well, decades later, she returned home. Here's Amber Lake with the story.
For more than 20 years, Amanda Smith didn't know if she would ever see her mom again. For decades, there were questions, searches, and no answers until now.
It was weird, it was wild, it was emotional.
All those words explain Thursday morning so well, a moment that no one could prepare for. Michelle Smith didn't recognize her own daughter. She asked one of our photographers if the woman standing outside was Amanda. Amanda told me that she didn't even know who she was looking for either. But then they knew.
And I didn't recognize. I didn't really know what, we didn't have time. I mean, I ran up to her, hugged her, and we cried a little, but then we had to rush in, so.
Back in December of 2001, investigators say Michelle Hunley Smith left her Eden home to go Christmas shopping in Martinsville, Virginia, and never returned. She left behind her husband and her 3 children. Earlier this year, deputies found Michelle Smith alive in North Carolina. Investigators say that she told them she left because of a domestic dispute, but when she was found, the past caught up with her. Court records show Smith had an outstanding warrant from 2001 tied to a DWI charge and a missed court date just weeks before she disappeared. That's what brought her to court today. A moment Amanda Smith waited 24 years for, over in seconds, as she followed her mom inside. Inside that courtroom, they tried to make up for lost time. At one point, the bailiff asked Amanda Smith to step out of the courtroom because she and her mom just kept talking to each other. Despite everything, though, the years, the questions, the absence, Amanda says that she chooses to move forward with her mom in her life.
Life's too short, and I'm not going to wait, and I'm not going to hold any grudge, and I'm not going to, stuff happens. I can't, that's always going to be, stuff's always going to happen, and we only get one life, and I want my mom in it.
Wow, I'm glad there's a happy ending to that story. That was Amber Lake reporting from North Carolina. Well, still ahead on Featured, a young painter in Georgia is setting her sights on the national stage. How a competition based on a late artist and TV personality might help her get there. Also ahead, a cowboy with big dreams and a bigger heart is breaking barriers in Georgia. How his ride is inspiring a whole new kind of rodeo built for everyone. Welcome back. A search is underway for the best young artists in the country. The Bob Ross competition comes with happy little trees and some big stakes for kids. Joe Ripley in Georgia introduces us to one kid hoping to make the cut.
I draw, I color, I paint. I try and sculpt sometimes.
Madison Williams Johnson loves art.
This piece of artwork means a lot to me.
Landscapes, outer space.
I like sunset colors and sunrise colors.
And her favorite TV shows and songs inspire this 11-year-old's artwork.
I want them to think like who I am and sometimes what emotions I'm feeling.
Madison says her mom and her teacher, Abby Moore, have had a hand in cultivating her work on the canvas.
Getting out your emotions and kind of like a way to calm whatever's going on in life, especially like with hard times. You know, some students just need a way to just let it out. And I don't expect everybody to be Van Gogh or Rembrandt or Michelangelo. I don't want them to be them. I want them to be themselves.
Madison's not only using art as a form of expression, the Trinity Christian student is fully engaged in competition. She entered the Bob Ross Most Artistic Kid contest, which features several rounds of voting nationwide.
And as long as she's proud of what she does and she's happy with it, then I'm happy with it.
I'd like to show my art to everyone in the world, and I would feel really special.
Win or lose, Madison says she'll continue making art with her sights set on the future and among the stars.
Something to do with art or engineering. Or my dream is maybe to work for NASA.
Joe Ripley.
I loved that one. I hope we get an update in a few months or so to see how that young lady did. Okay, for this next one, you want to grab your cowboy hats because we are going to the rodeo, but this one's a little different. We can say it is built around ability, inclusion, and making sure everyone has a special place in the arena. Here's Caitlin Ross.
All right, putting this out on, boy, okay?
Saddling up isn't just routine for Marvin Dugan. It's the moment everything starts to feel possible.
The excitement, the adrenaline rush, my fans cheer me on.
When he climbs onto Hercules, he's focused, steady.
Kiss and kick, come on.
Completely at home.
I know it's time to go to work, and it's time to get serious and do what I gotta do.
Out in the arena, Marvin isn't thinking about limitations.
Turn. Good, Marvin, good.
He's thinking about the ride, the rhythm, and the people cheering him on.
Marvin, love Marvin. Marvin has big passion, big faith, big dreams, and he has a big heart. Good boy.
For a long time,
good, ain't it?
There wasn't a space for him to compete like this.
Past it, heels down.
No division that fit, no lane that felt like his.
Marvin didn't have anywhere to compete, and we wanted him to have an opportunity to show his skills.
The special needs division of Say Rodeo started with Marvin.
Yay, good job! love.
And for his family, it finally gave Marvin what he had been searching for.
He just really wanted something that was his, where he could win awards, he could be recognized, and he just hadn't had that in his life.
Come on, push past, push past.
Marvin's life hasn't been an easy ride. Born with an intellectual disability,
Slide. Horn.
Marvin was in 13 different foster homes before he turned 8, before he was adopted by the Dugans.
He is really a special and unique man. He deserves to be celebrated. One of the most positive people I know.
Legs, flank.
Marvin is now using his gift to help others.
Now keep that inside hand up.
Visiting schools and encouraging kids with special needs.
Tight, tight, tight. Hands up, stand up.
To see what's possible for themselves.
There you go.
My heart for God, sharing my faith with people, from going to schools and teaching kids about what I do. Go, go, go.
All the way, all the way.
And when he rides, he's showing them something even more powerful than words.
That whatever they put their mind to, they can do it.
Hands forward, kiss and kick.
Out here, it's not about limits. It's where Marvin belongs.
That was Caitlin Ross reporting. Say Rodeo hosts events across Georgia with classes for kids and young adults. And they say the goal is pretty simple. If you want to ride, there is a place for you in the arena. Love that one. All right, coming up in our next half hour here on Featured, instead of staying down after a cancer diagnosis, one North Texas boy just kept getting up and kept moving. How he is inspiring others in the fight, coming up next. Plus, a German exchange student randomly assigned to a small town school in Minnesota, only to discover a crazy coincidence. We'll explain how he kept it in the family. Thank you for staying with us here on Featured. I'm Symphony Privet, and we are continuing to bring you uplifting stories across the country. Now, of all the places a German exchange student could have ended up in all of the U.S., we found a story in Minnesota that may be pretty hard to believe. Here's Boyd Hubert.
Come to Coleraine, Minnesota. Stop by Greenway High School.
Hi, guys. How's the weekend?
And you'll find
Gerrymandering.
a foreigner
President Trump responded.
in American government.
I'm learning a lot of new things here.
Henry Kukels is a German exchange student.
I mean, that's fun, obviously. Teaching him all, new experiences in Minnesota,
But Henry's host family, brothers,
At home, I only had a sister.
are not.
Braden.
The stories.
Bryce.
Only. Twin experience.
What are the odds of this?
Maggie Vekage is a coordinator for FLAG, the exchange student organization.
Why would you do that?
That plays
Because I can.
Henry.
He could have went anywhere in the U.S.
Henry, who mentioned on his application an interest in hockey.
I'm not really sure.
Henry, who was assigned
Totally random.
to Maggie, who happened to know that Greenway High had hockey.
I graduated from here in 2017.
But
Yep.
she didn't know.
Yep.
The smiling boy in this yearbook photo, taken 38 years earlier.
That's me.
Another
That's me.
German exchange student who'd grow up to be Henry's dad.
What school? Well, it was Greenway High School in Coleraine, in Minnesota.
We all just couldn't believe it.
All of a sudden, I got a message on my mobile phone. Oh my God, I'm going to Minnesota. Next message was, I will go to Greenway. That's your high school.
By accident.
It was by accident, yeah.
Maggie's
Yeah.
first knowledge was this texted photo of a young Thorsten Kukels in his Greenway letter jacket.
We kind of all freaked out. We got chills.
Now Henry walks the same halls as his father,
I wonder what classrooms he's been in.
who's back in Cologne, Germany.
Kids coming up to him and telling him, well, my dad knows your dad. It's quite funny.
Braden said the same thing you said during PE.
When Henry's host parents had a commitment, a member of his dad's host family escorted Henry to football senior night. But of course, Henry also played hockey.
I remember my host brother looking at me weird because why would I pick number 35? That's That's a goalie number. I picked it because my dad had that number for football.
Hey!
Now, father and son share a moment
Yeah.
and a dream.
Well, maybe we can we are able to walk through the building one day for real. He can show me around.
One thing's certain.
Yeah.
The Kukels will not have to ask Greenway High twice.
That would be great.
Boyd Hooper.
This year, Cook Children's Medical Center in Texas will treat hundreds of kids with cancer. And for one of them, his diagnosis isn't slowing him down. Sean Giggy shows us how one child turned stays at the hospital into hope for other kids.
When 9-year-old George Morford was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia last year, it could have understandably gotten him down. Instead, it got him up.
And I did laps on laps on laps.
He got up every single day and moved his body every single day.
During treatment, patients are encouraged to exercise by taking laps around the floor using one of these roller bikes. And George was on the move pretty much all day, every day, even at his worst.
He would lean against the wall and do his miles just leaning against the wall, just walking, scraping against the wall.
So I just kept going and it started getting funner every time.
During his 5.5-month stay, George set the record for most miles completed by a patient. How many? They're not quite sure. They stopped keeping track after he passed 100 miles.
You have to be out there on the bike from the morning till the night.
George's doctor, Holly Pacenta, says his last ride was his best ride. Today, George is in remission and now on a mission. Every year, Cook Children's Hospital hosts a big party called The Blast. One of the highlights is a 2.5-mile walk. Teams walk together while raising money for kids fighting cancer. And last year, even though he was quarantined and couldn't participate, George raised nearly $14,000 and formed the biggest team, more than 130 people. This year, now healthy, George did what George does and got moving, raising thousands and inspiring immeasurably more.
Because I don't want other people to do the same thing that I've been through, and it's just not fun.
I'm blown away. I wish he could see himself through my eyes and through our eyes. We're so in awe of him.
Cancer can get you down, but to get back up, George has some encouragement.
I dare you to try to beat my record.
Translation: never, ever quit. In Fort Worth, I'm Sean Giggy.
A decades-long tradition continues inside the halls of a hospital in Virginia. What started with one family setback turned into an annual opportunity to make a positive impact. Sean Martinelli has the story.
At Prince William Medical Center, every day there are deliveries. But the second week of March brings a delivery of a different kind.
Through the years, they've come to expect on March 9th we come.
That's Michael Dietz next to his father, Tim. 33 years ago, Michael's world began with tubes and uncertainty. Today, Tim's left with memories but no words.
I met Tim. He was coming in, I think, almost every morning and every afternoon to visit.
Leanne Brown and Kathy Vitale were two of Michael's nurses.
And he would sing, "Michael, row your boat ashore." And that's a memory I'll keep forever and ever and ever.
Michael, row the boat ashore. Hallelujah.
With his son sick, Tim couldn't sleep. He began baking muffins, then delivering them to the staff, a gesture that continued on Michael's first birthday and nearly every birthday since.
It can look really scary, but it doesn't have to be.
What did it mean to you to see him every year or see Tim every year?
It means the world to me. I mean,
yeah, same here.
I put a card with the muffins every year, and they put that on the bulletin board, and newspaper clippings or whatever accomplishments, pictures, of Michael, he's not that, sick little baby anymore.
For Leanne and Kathy,
just for him to show up is the gift.
A gift they will once again get today.
it makes it worth it. It makes you realize that what you're doing is something more. On a personal note, I had my own loss. I remember what that felt like. I remember feeling helpless. So just, being able to say, look, for me, this is so tangible that, we were able to help him.
There. Tim and Michael say more than sending muffins, they hope to send a message.
I hope that the parents of premature babies or sick children or whatever can maybe gain some hope. Good things can happen.
You were one of my little rays of sunshine at that time. So, yeah.
Would you want him back?
Sure, no problem.
And whether the goods are store-bought or home-baked.
Spoiler alert, I've never made them.
This remains one of March's most memorable deliveries.
Michael, don't admit that on the 33rd year.
I know. I think it was
Take
Dunkin'
some
Donuts
credit.
muffins last year.
In Manassas, Virginia, Sean Martinelli.
One longtime public safety officer at a hospital in Connecticut has spent the last year raising money and raising spirits. He is doing it one bottle and one can at a time. Here's Jim Altman.
Bottles, cans, and compassion. Somehow, it all comes together at Hartford Hospital, and it's one employee's mission in motion.
Here's your license.
What will the workday bring at Hartford Hospital?
Oh, great, great.
For Public Safety Officer Gary Sparks.
These will go in the next donation, man. Thank you.
It always begins at the ground floor.
Nurses, parking attendants, everybody.
From the lobby, it's here where Gary lobbies.
Little by little, people are showing up with anywhere from one can to a whole bag of cans.
You see, aside from day passes and security plans, there are giant bagfuls of bottles and cans.
We have made it done.
Man, I might have to go with another bag.
And for Gary, what others have discarded are suddenly highly regarded. So you're the can cop?
I'm Colonel Clink. Colonel Clink. I started collecting cans, and the employees they saw what I was doing. They were very receptive to it. And they started dropping cans off to me before I knew it at my desk. And what I did, I decided to plant the money where everybody that had donated cans could see where their money went.
Proving his mettle with aluminum and plastic. He's raised thousands.
Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome.
Okay.
Good luck.
For the past year, Gary's message in a bottle is that cans can make a difference.
Contributed to LifeStar, the Helen and Harry Gray Cancer Center. I bought a pair of glasses for a blind dialysis patient. Gave him AI glasses, and it's been a game changer.
His latest donation,
and I'd like to give you guys a check.
$500 for the hospital's palliative care unit.
Gary.
Put it to good use.
It's really wonderful that Gary helps everyone.
All these departments take tremendous money to run.
There we go.
I may not see exactly what they do with it, but I know it's going to go to a good use, good cause.
A dime at a time. And for the grandfather of 4, Gary's story of redemption continues.
He's a role model for all of us, and hoping this story gets out and inspires others to just go that little extra mile and do something a little extra to help others.
People tell me I'm crazy, but people have also responded. So as long as they support it, as long as I live and cans keep coming in at the rate they've been, I'll finance the whole place.
In Hartford, Connecticut.
It's not trash. It is absolutely a treasure.
Jim Altman for Featured.
Oh, I love that one. All right, coming up next, a Minnesota meteorologist promotes baby wearing at the office. We're sharing the story behind her mission to help moms everywhere. Welcome back. A bowling tournament held in states across the country raises money every year to support a national nonprofit that provides services to children and adults living with mental or physical disabilities. Here's Robert Stover in Pennsylvania with more.
It starts with picking up a bowling ball.
The throw and impact. Friday's event at ABC East Lanes in Swatara Township was a smashing success, bringing nearly 200 people with the Marikey Foundation together.
We provide services to some of the most vulnerable adults and children.
Bowling for the first time in a long time was Heather Magaro, Senior Executive Director of Children's Services with Marikey. She says the event is about having fun and raising money.
We're so focused on making sure our jobs are done, our programs are running well. So to be able to come together with my co-workers and really just enjoy the day, it reminds us why we do what we do.
ABC East Lanes was one of 8 bowling alleys across the country that hosted the event as a one-day multi-state fundraiser. This year's goal was $90,000. The money raised will support the organization and its programming.
Kids get back to school supplies if they are unable to have those, or you might see that we do horseback riding therapy, or you might find that we create a gazebo or a picnic place or different areas for the consumers to get yet another experience within the services that they have with us.
So if we can just remind everybody to be compassionate to one another, remember that everybody has a story you can't see, and to help whenever you can.
Robert Stover.
Now, we've all heard of take your kid to work day, but how do you keep them occupied when they're in the office? Well, we are introducing you to one Minnesota mom who has a unique solution and is on a big mission. Here's Raya Quintana with the story.
You want to sit on my lap?
From a small office in Eden Prairie.
Okay. You see red? Yeah.
Meteorologist Susie Martin.
Yeah. Mama.
And her curious 2-year-old Sully.
What do you see?
Have the whole world at the tips of their fingers.
This one. Oh, the sun. Can you go stand over there?
Most of the time, people keep their kids away from their work.
All right, Sully boo. Ready?
But when Susie is on the clock, her little guy's right where she wants him.
All right.
Tied.
Get my hair all
tightly.
Not disheveled.
To her.
Hi, everyone. I'm meteorologist Susie Martin with your national forecast.
With her first child in 2016,
I have a very special guest.
She became wrapped up in baby wearing.
I decided to bring in my little assistant here as we take a look at what's happening. I heard about it. I had attended a local meetup. They taught you how to do it, and I was like, this is amazing. Now, behind this boundary, we also do have colder air. I got immersed in that world, and I decided to promote baby wearing using the platform that I had. But even despite this cool down, just wanted to share this amazing tool that helped me. We're monitoring again the threat for some thunderstorms.
For Susie, it's been a game changer.
I'm an adoptive mom, so I actually first heard about baby wearing from our adoption agency, and it was on a list of ways to help promote bonding between you and your infant. It's Susie Martin with your national Coast to Coast.
Her oldest, Ansel, started appearing years ago.
So I thought I'd bring out my handy assistant. Throughout those first few months, it was just huge for both him and I to be able to be close in contact like that. As we take a look at Sunday, we're spiking back up to 61. It helps promote bonding. It helps with postpartum depression and just helps you feel human again, like you can do things. Want to say bye, Sully? Bye. He'll be back.
As her boys have grown, she's gotten resourceful.
I borrowed a few babies here and there in contrast with the very cold temperatures.
But Susie does a whole lot more than broadcasting.
Wow, look at all that. Yeah.
She's the president of Predictix.
It is really storming.
A weather forecasting and consulting company that remotely produces forecasts and graphics for clients all over.
Do you see flags?
From writing research to forensic weather analysis.
Currently in Jamaica.
She's done it all.
Lightning bolts.
With her babies, as close as they can be.
Mama. That's right. For Mama. It's been a great journey. Quite the opposite happening, though, in the eastern tiers.
That journey took an unexpected turn in 2018 when this happened.
My son happened to fall asleep mid-forecast, and it took the internet by storm. We had millions of views on this thing, as we do have a strong ridge of high pressure.
Millions of views helped her reach moms all around the world.
I loved the attention that it gave to baby wearing and loved sharing that. There was a lot of wonderful messages, people sharing their stories about how baby wearing helped them. Hello.
I'm assuming you have a carrier.
I've got like a gajillion of them.
To continue advocating,
clip this little mic.
Susie can always rely on her staff to lend
My special little guest.
a little one.
This is my assistant meteorologist. This is Wally, and he's going to help.
And with the smallest of assistants,
Lots of sunshine from most of our islands.
she hopes moms tuning in for these forecasts,
He did great.
wherever they may be,
Do you want to see Wally doing the weather?
will be informed.
And that was Rhea Quintana reporting. Who knows, maybe when the kids get older, they'll just flip on the Weather Channel if they need some help going to sleep at night. All right, still ahead this morning on Featured, we are taking you inside the micronation of Slowjamastan. Citizenship is free, but there is a catch. We'll tell you why thousands of people are now signing up to join and the unusual rules you'll have to follow. Welcome back. Now, if you promise to never wear Crocs, you may just become a citizen of the world's newest nation. It is the sovereign micronation known as Slowjamastan. Here's Jeff Zevley with more.
Drive 2 hours from San Diego straight into the desert and tucked right there next to the Salton Sea.
What can we do for you today?
First of all, what in the world are you doing out here?
We are freeing people from the atrocity that is Crocs, the shoes, Crocs. It is a Croc-free zone. You saw the signs, yes?
The micronation's making headlines with CNN, the New York Post, and too many newspapers to count, which is generating a population boom. You could be one of 25,000 citizens and counting.
Slowjamastan, yeah.
That's nice.
That's nice. It will be 20 doodles, by the way.
This whole story is a lot to swallow, but I did learn the Sultan's real name is Randy Williams.
Yeah, what can we play for you today?
He's an internationally syndicated radio DJ known as R-Dub, and his specialty, you guessed it, slow jams.
I'll make love to you like you want me to. Very romantic.
Randy loves to sing and travel. He's been to every country on the planet.
We're in Laos, Bhutan, Nepal, 140. Welcome to Yemen, Pakistan.
He loves traveling so much, in 2021, he created his own country that promotes peace, love, and silliness.
Hello, my friends. How are you? Welcome.
More and more Americans are seeking citizenship every day.
All right, who's first in line, my friends? Make a line. Ladies first. All right.
If you're looking for their stamp of approval,
I had to come and meet the Sultan.
just make sure you don't get off on the wrong foot with the wrong gift.
I can open it now?
I don't know what's in it. Oh. My wife wrapped it.
Very sweet. Mrs. Savelli, I appreciated everything. Thank you.
Hold on. Hang on. That came from my wife. I didn't even know what she gave him.
Off with his head and off with his feet.
We do not allow Crocs in Slowjamastan, therefore you get beat and slapped with your own dirty Croc. Yeah, he deserves it. Ow! Ow!
Shame! Shame!
Sadly, I'll never sing their national anthem.
This is an atrocity. You have upset us, and your citizenship has been
denied.
In the Zevely zone.
No Korean barbecue?
Jeff Zevely.
Might be the most interesting story I've seen so far on Featured. That's it for this episode. Until next time, make it a great one.